My name's Ian White. I've been paramotoring for about 10 years in the UK, but flying aircraft of all types, from the smallest aircraft up to 4-engine big jets for 35 years or so now. And I do quite a lot of mentoring of other guys now as they come through the sport, and take them from the post-training situation through into developing them through to the ability to go off and fly by themselves with confidence. There seems to be a bit of a void in that in-between gap. Now, everyone that comes through mentoring with me will know one particular thing that's of particular relevance to what happened to an experienced pilot up north just a week or so ago. I'm sure you're all aware that situation was that the pilot in question, who was very experienced, was holding his throttle, and having put his arm down, the throttle cable went back through a gap in the netting, a bit like this one here, and the loop of the throttle cable caught on the prop. Now, if you're lucky in that situation, the prop will just sever the cable and you're okay, it's not a problem, other than the fact that you can't put an engine out. Rather lack of power, and you can't shut down the engine either. However, what happened in this situation was the propeller grabbed the line, and what that did is it pulled his hand back and into the propeller, and I'm sure we've all seen the devastating injuries to poor old Fred's hand now. Now, there's a lot of stuff going around on the internet, quite rightly, about avoiding situations like I have here with this open gap, and it's something I do intend to deal with. That's quite clearly the right thing to do. Similarly, although I've got my throttle cable coming out here, there's a lot of benefits to having it come out more from shoulder height, so that you just have enough throttle cable to hold your hand up high, and also to be able to get your hand down low for a good flare. There's a lot of merit in that. But there is a most basic thing that we can all do that involves no modification whatsoever. And I've been teaching everybody that I mentor over the last God knows how many years to do this, so they all know about this, but I'm amazed that nobody else seems to be pushing this. And it depends, it's for people who have throttles like the mini plane one, or the Polini, or the PAP, or anything like that, where the throttle cable comes out in the direction of your arm rather than down here, because it makes a significant difference how you hold it. Almost everyone I see will pick up one of these throttles and they'll just put their hand in like so and hold the throttle like that. And I bet if you're watching this video now, you almost, well, 99% of you probably do the same thing. Now, this is not the way to hold a throttle like this, and there are two good reasons for this. Firstly, it's when you hold the throttle like that, that the throttle, when you bring your hand down, the cable can come and pass through that gap. That is the situation that happened in this accident. Now, the proper way to hold a throttle like this, and this is what you should all adopt if you're not doing it already, is that instead of putting your hand through like that, put this cable over your forearm, not under it. So over the forearm, then put your hand through. Can you see that? The throttle cable is resting on my arm. It still means I can get my hands up high. The difference now, when I bring my hand down low, is look what's happening to the cable. It's not going back towards the danger area. Any excess throttle cable is going away. Still make your protection to your paramotor netting. It's a good idea to do. But this is vital to keep your throttle cable away from the propeller. Now, there is another big plus for doing this as well. And that is that if you have a cable like this, in fact the mini plane one is particularly light and quite stiff, whereas some are quite flexible. So this perhaps isn't the best one to demonstrate. But if you have your throttle the way everyone else holds it, what happens is the weight of the cable back here makes this one a twist, like so. What that does is it puts the kill switch right back into the crook between your thumb and your first finger. That means that when you have a failed launch and you're thinking, oh shit, I want to stop the engine before it mashes up my wing, you've now got to move your thumb and try and find this kill switch which is right in the crook. That's not good, it's hard to find. If you put the cable over your forearm and in, you now no longer have this weight pulling down. In fact, if anything, it leans it forward. It puts the trigger closer to where your fingers work, not back here, but principally instead of the kill switch being back here, the kill switch is now there and easy for me to get my thumb to. So that's pretty much it. Key thing, have this throttle cable over your forearm, not underneath. Now that always used to be mentioned in PAT manuals about 10 years ago, but I haven't seen it written anywhere for a long, long time. Get this in the right place, it's absolutely essential. I'm sorry if I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but we can't afford to have anyone else have their hands chopped up like happened last week. Thanks for listening.